Okay guys, so for this first recipe, we're gonna make a pumpkin-filled pita. First of all, prepare the pumpkin. I'm using a Hokkaido pumpkin. You can leave the skin on with this one. And I seeded it and cut it into bite-sized pieces. I transferred the pumpkin cubes onto a baking sheet and roasted everything for about 20-25 minutes in a preheated oven, 200 degrees Celsius. This is what they're supposed to look like when they're done. They're a little crispy on the edges and soft on the inside, and I seasoned them with some garlic powder and some paprika powder. Next step, take a pita and prepare it according to the instructions on the packaging. So I just had to put mine in the toaster, and that's it. I spread some basic hummus on there, whatever. I added some lettuce leaves to it, and a handful of those pumpkin cubes. Some cherry tomatoes, probably too much for this pita. I topped it up with some barbecue sauce, some more hummus, and some fresh sprouts. These have been my obsession lately. They're not only good for you, they also look amazing, and they taste awesome, so yeah, sprouts. And that's it. I just really like this combo, but you could do whatever you like basically with the flavors. For this second recipe, we're gonna make low-fat pumpkin donuts. Now the main ingredient is going to be pumpkin puree, but since in most countries you can't get that from the store, I'm gonna show you how to make it yourself. First of all, take a pumpkin, cut it in half, take the seeds out, and put the two halves onto a baking sheet, onto a baking pan. Then bake it for around 30 to 35 minutes or even longer. It depends on the size of your pumpkin, and you'll know that it's done when it's really soft in the inside and when it looks something like this. Scoop everything out and put it into a food processor, add a splash of water, and mix everything up. Now for the donuts. For the dry ingredients, mix together your flour. I use spelt flour, along with raw sugar, baking powder, and your spices, cinnamon, vanilla, and nutmeg. And lastly, for the wet ingredients, mix together your almond milk, a fourth of a cup of applesauce, 1 tablespoon of apple cider vinegar, and your pumpkin puree. Pour the wet ingredients into the dry, mix everything up. If you feel like your batter is too dry at this point, you can add a splash of almond milk when mixing everything together. Now take a baking pan that is greased with vegan butter or coconut oil, and using a tablespoon, you're going to add the batter to the donut pan. It's a little tricky, I agree, but you'll figure it out. Now bake everything for around 15 to 18 minutes, and this is what they look like when they're done. I coated mine in a cinnamon sugar mixture. I brushed the tops of the donuts with a little bit of almond milk and then just, dunked them in the cinnamon sugar. But you can also, like my brother did, add some peanut butter or almond butter on top. And yeah, that's what he did. For this last recipe, we're gonna make spaghetti with garlic roasted pumpkin. Using the same pumpkin as before, but this time I cut it into like a fry shape, I guess. Put it onto a baking sheet, and if you like, you could brush the pieces with a little bit of olive oil to make it crispier, but you can also omit that, of course. I added a handful of garlic cloves with skin and all. And I'll put everything into the oven for around 25 minutes, 25 to 30 minutes. In the meantime, you can go ahead and cook your spaghetti. Plus, cut up a handful of mushrooms. This is not the professional way to cut mushrooms, but yeah, just cut them. I also cut up like half a cup of cherry tomatoes. Then I sauteed the mushrooms in some water and I seasoned everything with some lemon juice and agave syrup. Sounds weird, but it works. Plus, I added some dried thyme to it because it just tastes really good. This is what the pumpkin's supposed to look like when they're done. Really yummy. And then you can just assemble everything. I added some pasta to my bowl along with the veggies, some fresh arugula. Then I mixed everything up. And lastly, I poured a lemon juice and agave syrup mixture on top, just to give it some more flavor. And if you like, you could also add some salt and pepper, but I omitted that step. Now there you go guys, these were all of the fall recipes. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, then let me know in the comments, and also let me know if you try any of these, and click subscribe if you're new here. I will talk to you guys soon. Bye!